All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. EG versus Rogue. Map number 1 in this best of 3 series is starting up, and we'll be going to Bank to see who can get this one rolling. Habana, first operator banned here by Rogue. At least that's one hard breacher out of play.
This is the same way they played it against FaZe the other day, where they banned Habana and Mira. And then Glaz and Echo were what came out from EG against NIP. So far going according to what they had done previously, which makes a lot of sense, because EG had success on it where Rogue struggled a little bit against FaZe and actually ended up losing the map. There's the Mira as well. So now we'll see if Echo comes out here, but maybe not as likely from Rogue because of the fact that EG took it out instead of Rogue.
Pulse, possibly? Yeah. To remove it?
Vigil.
Oh, Vigil.
That is a very good one for Canadian as
Yes.
well, so definitely also a big blow to EG to an extent, although I imagine they have plenty of other operators they can roam with, but that is definitely a good one to take out. So I appreciate the strategy there. We will see them going to lockers first, it looks like, though. And that is, of course, the common primary site, but we have seen a team like Rogue willing to start on CEO, sometimes try open teller strats, maybe even start on tellers.
Rogue for North America, they have gone for open area quite a few times, especially compared to really any team that's out there in North America and even in Europe. We have our first lineups here in the reveal phase. We'll see if there's a 6th pick. EG had kind of gone through the season in Pro League weak early on and understanding the 6th pick, but now they've been able to really mind game their opponents, and they're at least see Geo switching off to the Valkyrie.
All
Will
right.
be anything from EG so far?
Not looking like it. Well, we'll see how things go here for Rogue, because both of the times these teams played this map, it was a little bit more in their favor on the defense side. So Rogue starting on defense means if they can to get at least a few rounds, like we've talked about before, where you get, you know, a few of those initial defensive rounds help you when the side switch comes around. If they can't get those, then it's looking like it could be a very EG favorite map, which of course it was their map pick, so not a surprise there. We'll see them actually setting up a reinforcement on the loan office wall. Maybe give them a little bit of freedom to roam at the top of those stairs potentially without being as easily cornered, or just be able to play a little bit easier from the open area doorway if they need to. Of course, that's a little bit riskier to play from just because you got to deal with the beepers.
We'll see the hatches here should get reinforced by Rogue. No, actually, Brian will... Oh, okay, so they have a rotation hole from Archives. And they'll have a hatch open. So they're preparing a lot of hold up here with quite a few players just holding on to Teller's Archive to defend the site from below.
It looks like open area might also be a consideration. They reinforced quite a few hatches up there as well above it.
This is it's going to be fairly interesting to say the least, to overuse the word, I guess. Their big bad Canadian will huff and puff, and so far nothing has fallen as it continues in droning slash. You can tell Rogue are fairly happy just holding on to open area and the site, really the rooms around it. This is a team that back when we still had Cafe in play in Pro League, they opened the whole thing up. They're a team that is all about moving, constantly keeping your opponents on their toes.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Slash is able to keep them on their toes. The way he's playing Pulse may be able to at least stop some of the push here, but I like that it's multi-pronged push coming from different sides. You see Young, for example, pushing the lobby, whereas push a bit more from the kitchen side coming out from Canadian, who's going to open up an angle here right into that room. Fortunately for Eclipse, he is not on top of that fight.
And
goes
Canadian.
down.
That's the first one. That's the Ella removed. It's just a rivalry. As Canadian is now down to 35 HP. He spots the second one, slashes down on the floor. The defense that was so reliant on the Ella for CQC fights and the Pulse is simply falling apart. For Rogue is now the last 3 alive. So your 2 anchors of the smoke and the Echo with Geo on the Valkyrie, having set up his utility earlier on in the round. Brian with not much ammo left in his mag, literally not a single shell. Will try to defend from the back. They have no setups. The entire place is soft. Well, this might come back to bite them.
Yeah, they definitely were hoping to be able to at least defend a little bit longer upstairs in open area. The fact that it fell so quickly here gives them a lot of extra time to play with. They have used one EE, 1D, but NBK has the other one to help support a potential plant here. They do have Necrox on the Thermite to be able to open up the wall now that they're taking controlled servers. That was a very quick control because they droned it properly. And
wow. Young disgusting shot onto Brian to take him out. The smoke removed just before he could actually use his utility. We'll hear one yokai being used up as Young finds a second on easily. Last alive is Gio, our Mexican player here. The MPX will get one on MVK, but his position, of course, has just been spotted by the E1D. Claymore taken down, but he moves back down to the site. They'll have to retake this against 4 players from Evil Geniuses. BC should spot him here at least. Okay, there we go. He's gonna set up a drone for EG to get information off of his MVK. Is on that. Diffuser's been spotted, but Young holding the cross ankle with a Blackbeard. Beautiful play with the SR25. Will get 3K in this round. Beautiful round 1 from EG. Just reading Rogue so well and shutting them down.
They were barely even contested outside of Gio getting that kill on the stairs. I like that he at least faked with the E1D. You saw he ran further up the stairs than he needed to, trying to fake like he was going to go to the open area hatch inside the open area like admin room. Because of that, they were of course going to be a little more concerned about that, or even maybe a push from the other side. But he smartly went back down. Unfortunately, the pre-fire gave his position away, not to mention the drone there and the angle the Blackbeard had. Not a lot you could do to clutch that out, but it was, again, like you said, just completely reading into the positioning and just good, smart heads-up play. Of course, you can't completely see where those drones are at all times. I imagine those were big factors. Well, Young going to try and sneak in a 6th pick here. We'll see if that'll work, but they are going to try lockers again. This time, maybe that will help. I mean, Blackbeard, though, was so good. He got at least a 2K for that last round, so maybe they won't do as well without that this round. We'll see.
All right, let's see how the alibi gets played. As again, the Vigil's been banned by Rogue, so they can't really go for a combo with a Vigil or plus an Elo, which is something we've seen quite a bit of, and even EG have run themselves in the past. Now, a lot of teams run here, and you mentioned it, even though Market are not in the contention of the top 8 teams, Panix loves to play this staircase here on the side. We see Eclipse setting up his ADSs. We put a shield in front of the Ella, put her Gmult mines right at the entrance, and a couple ADSs, maybe a U-jammer, and you waste so much time, and more often than not, you get a kill or 2, and really force a lot of utility out of your opponent. Zofia or grenades, any of that nice stuff. Slash here on the alibi. Again, ACS 12. So that'll be interesting. Oh, he's actually going to do it. So here's the thing, Devin. Slash, what he's playing right now, is something that back in the day, Latin America used to play this even before they were part of Pro League. They would put Cav on here with the SPAS 15 or Valkyrie with the SPAS 12. And now, they got more rounds in the magazine. They'll play Alibi.
Yeah, it's definitely going to work good. Not to mention all the decoys there. Interesting what he's trying to do. Oh, there we go. He was trying to place a mute jammer. That'll make it so they can't drone that hologram out, which is vital here. Now, they're going to, I would imagine, think at least one of those holograms is real, probably the one behind the other one. So that seems like a smart strategy if Slash can pull it off here. At the very least, very likely to get some shots through them, get some pings going on here. But they are going for top floor clear first, of course, being thorough. You see Sledge of BC and then BK Online clearing that top floor out. While Canadian drones downstairs, he's not going to be able to repeat his success here on open area because they are not going to play the same strat again, which seems like the smart approach here.
All right, Young in the tellers, just maneuvering around here. There's nothing that's been preset. You saw Rogue setting up in the very first round. Young can just chuck an EMP and ruin anybody's day there in the back. It won't be fun when a single EMP grenade just takes down like 6 or 7 bits of utility.
Well, in this case, it will disable the holograms, which is, not a ton, but that will take out 2 ADSs and the mute jammer, and that is more than enough to be able to find out what they need to find out and take those stairs. So I agree.
There you go.
This is what he's going to go for.
So there you go. EMP will get thrown in. It's a bit to the side, but it should be enough to take down the mute jammer. The grenade's been thrown in, so ADSs have been taken down. And Slash just gets right on in the thick of things.
What?
Can't find the shot. BC! How does he win against the shotgun up close? Oh my God. Wilkie has definitely inspired the team, but yikes. That was not great.
All about those pre-fires and being lined up for that headshot, of course. SMG-11 is a very nice gun. In this case, of course, he would have been wasting a lot of bullets had he missed with those pre-fires, but still. Necrox, though, in position again to once again open this up with 40 seconds left for a nice execute. However, this time only one player of Rogue is dead.
Yeah, and the Lion will try to hold it from the back. Necrox right at the edge. Try to go in for the plant to bait out the smokes, but it's very dangerous. There's not a lot of time. Easily in Eclipse, though, chime in and get a kill each easily. Moving through the smoke as Eclipse in the meantime takes down Canadian on the rotation hold. The line out of play. Necrox taking damage from the back as the smoke taking it away easily. One more kill for him on a BC. Last is Necrox here. We'll have to contest against 3 players from Rogue, and Geo will end the last one with the mute. Beautiful play here from Rogue, making sure that they have as many players for that final push to counter EG at the end of the round. And EG taking a lot of time to get down to the site, and very different than what we saw in our first
Pretty much
round.
the opposite, outside of the fact that I don't think they, well, they did go, no, it was the opposite because they got 1 kill each both times, so.
There's no roam play from Rogue, and at the same time, EG kind of just stood outside the site, and with not much time left, they had to use whatever utility was available at that moment. Didn't really work out too well for them here. Round number 3 coming up.
Well, I like the way that they took advantage of being distracted by going for the plant, of course, because once they open that wall with 40 seconds left, you know they're going to be very focused on trying to get that plant down, so taking advantage of their lack of focus elsewhere was exactly what they needed to do that round. And like you said, not over-roaming it was the smart play on that, because they had the extra people to go around for flanks and things like that to take advantage of that on time, knowing they were going to thoroughly clear the map even if they weren't roaming on it, which seemed like a smart strategy since roaming didn't do much. But here's CEO, the defense I was talking about. This is one of the teams that really made CEO big when they debuted with it. I believe it was the season prior, the earlier season this year, when they had a very fantastic CEO debut. Some good use of castle strategy and ACOGs and things like that. They will be bringing that castle again. Of course, Geo reinforcing that wall because it is important to make sure they cannot have any extra angles, to the point where we often see Hibana even crack open a window and open that wall from range to be able to fight it. But in this case, all they've brought in is Thermite, because Hibana is banned, which means that wall is going to be that much more secure. They can play in that hallway much easier now.
2 things that I like in the setup from Rogue is that they're bringing a bulletproof camera and Maestro with the Evil Eye, so they have information on the hallway with the Evil Eye. They can, of course, change the angle as well if they want to look down into the main entrance of the bank. So all of that information gathering is so important for the team. I wonder where they have set up that bulletproof camera, because it was available and played up by Geo in this. And in the meantime, continuing his training is downstairs. He won't find anything just yet.
Interesting on the switched roles as well. We had Slash playing the Pulse before. This time Eclipse has done it. I feel like sometimes we have seen Eclipse play Pulse, sometimes effective, sometimes not. It doesn't seem like they have a great Pulse main the way that Canadian can be on their teams. They seem to trade it off a bit. Both of them are very good, very smart players in terms of their positioning and game sense, but at the same time, you know, they might go for a bit more fragging than trying to play intel roles, and that could work against Rogue.
Drone's been taken out, but they have spotted Eclipse. Eclipse, instead of immediately running through, does the same thing, which is, I will use my utility here to spot a line in the back. Instead that drone is spotted, he might be able to move around. The drone, there we go, spots it, but the Pulse will be able to drop the drone. Just moves on up the stairs. Right now isn't able to scan anybody in the garage, that's why he's looking by the stairs.
Smart position changes. Of course, he's been droned out, so in a way he's going to bait that lion on in, although I don't think NBK is going to fall for it. BC, though, in the meantime, opening up a lot of windows to give some access from outside, also to keep them watching more angles here, but it's taking a while for Canadian to get inside, having to do a lot of droning. In the meantime, though, Necrox opening that wall, and I don't think we're going to see an impact to stop it.
There you go. Thermite has opened up the wall. Young holding the angle of the SR-25, a weapon that I'm seeing a bit less nowadays to the Mark 17, but if your job is to hold an angle at distance, the SR-25 is the weapon to go for. And this definitely allows you much better follow-up shots. Unfortunately, no follow-up from Young. Slash takes him out and only down to 50, and now dropped on the floor. Canadian will refrag ASAP to make sure this is on an equilibrium. Rogue losing a huge technical operator of the Echo, but EG lose out on the Blackbeard as well, and easily going down. No more Maestro for Rogue.
Definitely a big bummer here is that camera's only going to be facing one direction that they have set up in the middle, but Canadian has so much utility left.
Oh, the C4! The Eclipse from downtown taking down Canadian. A 3v3 as Necrox is now down, but BC getting the kill on a Geo. BC will have to drop into the site to help. Eclipse to get one on NVK. The fuser's not been set just yet. 10 seconds on the clock. BC turning around, opting for the 1v1 VUT. He spots him on the floor. Eclipse is down. Have to move in. 3 seconds left. The diffuser try to set it down here. Brian has the information and he knows what's going on. All he needs is the kill. And hello is the last two to go down. Nicely done by Brian. The double there to finish things up. One down, and the second one is now out.
Yeah, he didn't even have to go for Thermite, of course, because he still gets credit for the kill for the down. This definitely feels good for Brian there. A great hold. Again, you saw the play of those ACOGs, but it seems like Canadian is very, very good in controlling the gun of Zofia and able to hit those shots even at long range very effectively. And that's going to be a big problem for him here. It seems like every time he's bringing that, it's really kind of doing a lot of damage to them. But in their case, they managed to at least be able to hold the site itself once that attempted plant went down from Necrox. That was really just at the start of the downfall because that trapped the diffuser in a position where they could be able to counterplay it.
Beautiful play there from BC on the sledge in the window. He has been on absolute fire throughout this entire tournament. Something that the desk very much did highlight. He has no problem whatsoever. Just shutting down any opponents at range. Do not play against BC when he's got access to really any sort of weaponry.
Well, we'll see if they can pull off open area here. This is going to be their third bomb site. Rather than going to Tellers, this is one they've tried in the past and struggled with for the most part. It seems to be a very touchy defense. It's one that has a lot of good ideas. I remember Kix getting very excited when he first saw this. It was the case where it had a lot of great ideas, but execution on it is the difficult part because there's quite a few weak spots, and once those start falling apart, becomes very difficult to deal with. And of course, EG is not going to be coming into this ignorant of that. They're going to be looking to exploit the weaknesses that they know about. However, I got to imagine Rogue as well have made adjustments in the meantime, as well as having different operators to potentially play with. Could make all the difference, but this could also be another bomb site where they go down and then maybe switch to Tellers or go back to lockers again after this, as they will be able to.
All right, Geo opening things up here so they can contest and even have a safer rotation by putting up an extendable shield on the Maestro. Now set up a second Evil Eye. Where will it be? On the desk or somewhere else? Should be all the way in the back here to have information on the window, but unfortunately no time for that.
There we go.
Set in on the opposite end of the open area. See that they have opened up a decent chunk of the top of the wall so they can engage, shuck any gas canisters or C4s, as you see the mute in the back, to take down any opponent standing behind this relative safety of the reinforced wall by the castle barricade.
The nice thing about putting that Evil Eye so high along with that open top of the walls, they might actually be able to see into kitchen a fair bit if they turn that camera. But it's hard to say how much because, of course, it might be a little bit high that they opened those holes. But I do like that idea because that gives a lot of coverage. Basically the whole site. Of course, you can't see up through the hatches from there, but still going to be some nice play here. I got to imagine those hatches in stockroom and the hallway are going to get open pretty quick, though, and that's what Eclipse is going to try and stop.
C4 is going to get thrown in, but will not connect as NVK coming in, focusing on Eclipse, but Slash is ready to slap him down, and Rogue will get a kill early on easily, though will get shot down by Canadian. They've been having a great start for the game here. The mute goes down, the C4 has not been expended just yet, but the Lion is lost for EG.
I feel like NVK unfortunately been struggling on that line in terms of his positioning. He seems to get caught off guard fairly early, not getting use out of the utility. Perhaps they could put him on a more of a fragging role if he's going to be going in as aggressively. I would like to see him, as Kix mentioned earlier, put on Ash.
Yeah, Ash, Zofia both work out very, very well for NVK, and Young takes down Eclipse. He takes half damage. See, the rest of the squad here, Evil Geniuses, are just watching the entryway from Archives into a site. They do have the Zofia still available, so of course they can't impact the wall into the open area office. Necrox, in the meantime, is going to set up by Skylight and open up the door to move in. Unfortunately for him, U-jammers have already been placed. Have to be shot down by EG before they come into the site. And Young again! Slash getting taken down, the SR-25. Brian will have to engage as one more gas canister is left in the back pocket.
Well, this is definitely down to BC to push this, but Canadian again just destroying everyone.
Canadian! Oh my god! 2 kills right there at the end on the Zofia. Just able to shut them down and use the shield to his advantage there at the end. that is unfortunate. It's EG starting to get the hang of the game with each and every single round where players like Young, players like BC or Canadian are able to keep things rolling. Their momentum just becomes way too much to handle, and this is something that Rogue are oh so familiar with.
Definitely been working on for the most part. Interesting though, they are going to switch up some operators here. Thermite instead going to move over to Young so that Necrox can bring out the Dokkaebi, which I suppose will make a nice backup to if NVK doesn't live too long on the Lion. They are going to play this a bit more aggressively. Necrox might also be bringing those smokes to help with the potential plant here, but NVK again get a 6th pick over to that Thatcher, which makes sense. It was for this bomb site last time, so that will give Young the opportunity to open that quickly. Although I believe it was Young last time that did the 6th picking over to Thatcher instead of playing on that Blackbeard. So we'll see how this attack works for them. Slash going to try the alibi play again, although I imagine might do it a little bit differently. However, I don't know how much they actually saw of that because of the mute jammer and because of the fact that they had just hit it with a Thatcher. They might not have seen too much of a strategy other than the let's bring a shotgun right up to the doorway.
Okay.
7.
Yeah. On the board, he's definitely showing up in this game, and we're still 4 rounds in, starting off with the 5th one. And Gio setting up his mute jammers to make things a bit more complicated for EG on the engagement. But again, that 6th pick to the Thatcher will be a big, big help for EG.
10 seconds to
Well, hopefully this drone jamming here from Gio will work this time. But because of the 6th pick to the Thatcher, which of course they didn't see, they're not necessarily as prepared. Although they might anticipate they might go for that again. It was different people on different roles, but the same end result that they have now with Thatcher and the Thermite, as well as Canadian sticking to his guns here, as they've been working very well for him. Now it's down to whether or not they can make this roam clear quickly and whether or not Rogue are going to give up any bodies in the process or just let them burn time on the clear. I don't know how well they'll be able to hold that server stairs though, because that was something that didn't work out so well last time and was a big part of it. Now, they did push it with nice timing, the way they Thatchered and then threw grenades down immediately. And so that put Slash in a position where he had to wait for that to finish before he could push aggressively. Timing is going to be everything again with those stairs.
All right, Canadian continuing on with the droning in the open area. And again, Alibi just retreating. There's no reason to get over aggressive early on. Wait until your opponents feel super safe before they come down into their inevitable doom. Because Rogue, they learned their lesson again from the very first round, where they put much more emphasis on roam play. It didn't work out too well to rotate back onto the site. A round afterwards, they did adjust and played it very standard. And you know what? There's a reason why it's a standard. It works most of the time.
Well, they can also take advantage of the fact that Dokkaebi might not be as useful if they don't go for a roam. Those phone calls won't do as much for you once it's on site push. They will help a little bit. But then again, it's going to be mostly down to the guns and smokes. However, guns haven't been helping Necrox a ton as he's already taken nearly half his health of damage.
Yeah, Eclipse had peeked up from the stairs to get damage on there, as Necrox has already set up a drone to keep tabs on rotations. Now you open the skylight hatch to push away anybody in the stairs, but you also need to watch the rotation. Nobody rotates in, you know that there's a player playing from below. C4 will get chucked up by Rogue, and that was Gio's only stick available. Call has come in, so they confirm the Alibi's position, and they get info on it. There's a minute 2 left on the clock, and Slash is burning so much time here. Just standing on his own, even if he dies, will be more than enough, the amount of work that he's done. Jaeger will go down though to Necrox, as he takes him out by the main stairs. Slash just actually using the call to his advantage here. Just making sure his opponents can hear more and more of the call the closer that they get to him. The grenade perfectly timed. No, it will not be. That's one with the SES. He sprays for the second, and no, can't take down Young. Somehow staying alive on the Thermite. 30 seconds though left on the clock. The job has already been done here by Slash on the Alibi. Rogue with fantastic bit of technical play. Canadian though, not content with what's going on, will try to engage the site directly. Possibly pushing down onto the red hallway. Necrox spraying into the back as Canadian comes into the hallway. Brian with one, but easily holding from Garage will get one of his own as well. Gio from above though on the roam, rotates in and Brian gets the last one. Rogue to win out the first half of our first map, 3-2.
Definitely well played by Slash. you may say, oh, he only got 1 kill, but as you mentioned, he burned up so much time. You saw the pressure at the end there. They didn't even bother trying to open up the wall because, of course, they weren't going to be able to play for time to bait out the smokes, going to leave them in a position where they could get smoked and C4'd very easily. So instead, they just tried to force it through smoke with pre-fire, push their way in and take that red hallway. But because they lacked intel, because they were spending so much time fighting for those server stairs, fighting for control over the servers, they didn't have the time to drone properly either. Well played by Rogue, burning time without having to roam heavily. And not only that, but getting a kill in the process. However, sides have switched, and we will see Young on the Pulse and Canadian on Legion. That is a switcheroo right there, as we tend to see Young being the one on that Legion.
Definitely so. Now, oh no, NVK will move to the castle. Playing in lockers. Okay. The mute has definitely had a ton of effect as we've seen Rogue. And what is done to them, EG will play a lot more of a defensive favored site. And it's in a different way. So before, when you're running an alibi, you're running an ala, most of your focus is on the server stairs. Whereas if you're on a pulse, you burn a bit of time around the server, but your goal is to force your teammates to push into the site where you can use your smokes, you can use your C4 to your advantage to take them down. That's why there's 2 C4s for EGE on here, and Necrox with his 3 gas canisters. It's a different style of turtle defense, and this is why different operator abilities are so important in professional play.
Well, what'll be interesting to see is if they can pull off the roam any better than Rogue did, because you see the utility being committed to it. They're committing 2 castle barricades at the very least upstairs here to helping hold Teller and Archive, setting up rotation with impact nades. They're doing something similar to what Rogue did, which is let's try and hold this middle area as long as we can, be able to try and fight them from having control over the hatch from open area and see what we can do with that. But Slash going to be on this Jackal here is going to make it that much harder because he's going to be able to track their position in there if they came out far enough. In this case, they most likely didn't, but if they can get into Tellers alone, there will be plenty of footprints there, assuming they do it in a timely manner.
Slash just moving in, spotting for any footprints that are on the floor. Of course, Jackal has had a range increase on his Inox footprint tracker from 5 to 8 meters, allows him to scan things at a greater distance, also keeps him out of harm's way for that very essential type of tactical play. The castle will spot the drone and take it out as MVK just playing in the back of Archives until Slash possibly comes in. Use the E1D to freeze the castle in position as Slash try to come in, but they don't care. EG just rotate away, the Legion taking damage, but is still alive. No, Canadian gets taken down as he goes by the hatch and can't rotate down from the office onto the site to help out his teammates. Eclipse finding the opportunity to take down the Legion. And that's the first kill for the Sledge. The castle will get identified.
Definitely not a big deal, as he has already rotated far down to make sure he's not vulnerable anymore. They took whatever they could win from that top side, which in this case is a tiny bit of damage to Slash, and move on from there. They don't want to make the same mistake as Rogue, which is throwing too many bodies at the problem. They've managed to burn a little bit of time. It is unfortunate to lose a Legion early as opposed to the castle, who'd already done most of his job. But in this case, they will still have fragging power downstairs, not to mention C4s and even potentially 1 impact nade left on NVK if they need it for whatever reason. So plenty of denial left here. However, they are working for control of server stairs and no one's going to contest it. So this is where they are going to save some time. They have their Thermite as well, of course, of Easily, who will be able to go down and open that wall as soon as they feel comfortable in this position, although he is backtracking just a little bit right now.
This is what we talked about, that because of the setup from EG, losing one player doesn't hurt them a ton. What it might hurt in is holding rotations at the end of the round where possibly Rogue might be able to get a flank off on them. But here, the technical ability of the 2 C4s and the smoke canisters are still available really at the exact moment that you would require them. Now the hatches are not open upstairs because the Habana is banned. There's only a Thermite available and you would need at least 1 of his charges to take down the side wall. As the front one from servers has not been reinforced. Gas canisters chucked in. There's still C4s available. EG with the C4 being thrown out. BC cannot connect. Slash with 1, but MVK to refrag. Rogue with 3 seconds left on the clock here in the attack as Slash gets 1 more on Young. Try to stick that plant in the back, but Slash will take the win on NVK as he rotates in. BC with 1. Diffuser set on the floor. He's all in his own versus 3, and Geo will find the last one on the Zofia. Red hallway is where we see Valkyrie fall at the end of the round. Now Rogue leading 4-2 against the rivals, the bitter rivals of EG.
An important part of that play as well at the end, something that was a small thing, but definitely going to make a difference, was Slash tracking the pulse. He had the ping of the pulse, which means they knew he was playing in Gold Vault, and that's how they knew how to bait those C4s. I mean, you're going to be doing it anyways, but knowing there's a pulse in there means you know you absolutely have to fake it with man standing still. You have to sit in a position where he's going to see that heartbeat in the right position to trigger that C4 throw, and very well played, using the smoke as well to obfuscate it so they couldn't see when was the right time. Played that very well, but we are going to get a tactical pause here. Is that from Rogue, who are
That's
ahead?
EG. That's actually a tactical pause called by EG.
There we go, yeah.
So Rogue is obviously at the same time. The rule set is both teams can talk and talk to their coaches in the meantime, whilst a tactical pause is used by one team or the other. So that is something, of course, to keep in mind within those 60 seconds that are allotted for these sorts of tacticals.
Well, definitely a good idea here is, of course, this was EG's map pick, one they're very comfortable in, one they should be doing a lot better on. Great end round there. Fantastic play by Slash, outside of just the tracking alone.
He rotated back in and tried to play against the castle, and he still got the kill on him. It was absolutely beautiful play from Slash, just calm and collected. EG kind of flustered in here as they regroup and see if this round will go their way. Now they change things up. They bring the Ella, so Young has that available. Will they sixth pick? I don't know. They will not. So we'll stick to the Ella. Wonder if MBK is bringing an extendable shield to help with the defense. No, he's bringing the barbed wire for the defense on bus A, B here in the basement. So much more standard.
Yep.
Wonder will Young will be seated.
Especially with Canadian back on that pulse as well. I mean, we'll see if that works out much better this round. But in this case, yeah, I think Young, as you're pointing out, could be a bit of a factor if he's able to hold those stairs well, do his job, because that does make a difference. But last time it didn't seem to be contested at all, so maybe that will be the change-up.
Yeah, and if he plays a lot more of a roam style, a lot more aggressive, then Rogue has really the perfect two operators to combo to take it out, Brian and Slash, on, of course, the Lion and the Jackal. Seeing how easy it can be to shut down a roamer that is over-aggressive or just keeps moving a bit too much, just make sure that you get the kill on him, forcing him to move or even stick in his position. It's not just about using your E1Ds on the Lion, it's about comboing it with drones to find out where your opponent's position is.
Yeah, and we'll see if they're able to do that. Of course, the Lion and the Jackal both being in here means it will be very difficult to roam, so it probably is not the smart play for EG to do any roaming. We saw that last time they managed to lose Canadian early in that roam and then forced them back downstairs. They're going to take a page out of Rogue's book again, and you saw that tactical timeout may have also been discussed. Let's not over-push our aggressiveness. Let's play the angles and smart plays that we know. Unfortunately, they left a few footprints, of, because they have to reinforce those hatches. It does mean someone is tracked now. Of course, all they know is, well, they're downstairs, which is to be expected.
Eclipse in the meantime, just in on the sledge. Be sure nobody can push up from the stairs early on to get the flank on EG. Continues droning from the skylight. Be sure it's nobody in open area. Slash in the meantime holding on to the stairs as, of course, he's playing the Jackal, so just open up a wall with an ITA, and that's exactly what was done. He can just sit there and wait until he gets calls from his teammates. In the meantime, it's not like everybody else is holding an angle. Everybody else is either droning or making sure that they have solid map control where they can come in and put themselves in correct position to move on to the site. And there you go. Hatch will get opened up in Skylight. That'll force a player from server out of his position. And that is the buff right in play for the Jackal. They'll be able to trace, I believe, the Jaeger there in the back. They continue on with droning. 1:07, much more efficient here for Rogue. Guzmot and everything being triggered as they enter, but both teams with now 5 players available, not a single point of damage taken.
It's definitely going to be Young having to play very aggressive. I imagine it's going to come down to time, but there are so many stacked up in server. Either he's going to get a jackpot or he's going to get slaughtered because he's going to have to push aggressively against the plants. He's there because they're going to bait out C4 and smoke, so he's the backup plan to make sure that this works. Trying to piece some cracks. They are going to use a lot of utility to stop him, though, in the meantime.
Now, Guzmot mine has been thrown in by the Ella grenade to try and find the kill on her. Unfortunately, it does not connect. Second grenade will be lobbed in 25 seconds on the clock As Eclipse starts to time it correctly, but Young is still alive. They know where he is, but they can't find angles. He keeps squirming around on the floor. 12 seconds left on the clock. Rogue will just come onto the site, and the Ella cannot contest. Double C4 from BC as Brian gets one more. Pre-firing here from Gio as he finds one in the back. The diffuser needs to be set, and Gio gets the kill. 2 left alive as the defenders, though. EG will take it. The diffuser not planted there at the end. They forget the one essential thing, the objective.
Well, Young may have died an untimely death, but he burned so much time that they failed to make the defuse plant. That was key right there. But Gio, what a beast. Just running on in, knowing exactly where they were going to be playing, even going down to the pistol as need be, and still winning his fights. But either way, fantastic smoke play and timing, who from what I would assume was Necrox, and stopping that plant. That's all they needed to do. Unfortunately, they didn't even just try and get into the room and get it maybe done in the middle if they needed to at that point. But that is going to make it much closer to a potential tie here.
Yep, still leading here. Rogue with 4-2-3 from Evil Geniuses. Rogue, if they can put that 5th round on the board, that'll guarantee a minimum of overtime in this very first map in this best of 3 series. For a lot of teams, for a lot of players, for a lot of viewers, and even for Canadian. In his interview, this match represents who is the best team in North America right here, right now.
Well, we'll see. It is definitely fairly neck and neck, but in this case, the fact that Rogue have a point advantage here is a big deal. They almost got one last round as well due to a fantastic but slowly timed execution, despite all that time advantage they had getting in servers. This is a bomb site, though, we have yet to see, as for whatever reason, Rogue decided they didn't want to go with something as quote-unquote conventional as this would be, but we'll see how well it can come out here from EG. They're going to be bringing some interesting strats here. Pulse is not necessarily the usual suspect to see on the site, and then NBK on Dock as well, going to be able to play some longer angles, which there are plenty to be able to play as the Dock, so we'll see if he's going to be a key factor or not. We haven't seen a ton of fragging come out from him, which I know he is more than capable of, and I expect, but maybe it's just the roles he's been put on.
NBK again with the bulletproof camera on Dock. Wonder where that was set up. Is Gio in the meantime looking for any cameras that were set up by BC. Just opening up the window. Eclipse moving into the ATMs, the main lobby. Won't find anybody early on.
Good pre-fire just in case. You never know if someone might be peeking there. You got to take advantage of every little crack in the map to get the intel, especially in such a big wide open area. I think you see the bulletproof camera there as well, potentially to face out into the lobby. So I like that positioning by NBK. Going to give them a bit of intel outside of that castle barricade. And then, of course, NBK using that to his advantage in a very long angle. That is a great use of the ACOG combined with that camera. In this case, though, not finding any bodies and maybe just giving away his position a bit too much.
I'll just move up the spiral stair. As right now, it's been able to get one. The Inox being used to identify the Doc who's playing downstairs. He's just watching. Maybe they're using this as bait. You see the tracers being fired off, so they know that there's a player in and around Janitor, and immediately drops down to the open area. He's trying to waste as much time as possible here for Rogue, as EG ending the last round through time. Try to make sure that Rogue don't have any advantage, at least in terms of time bank, before they get onto site.
Definitely so far taking them a long time just to clear a fair amount of the map, something that they were much more efficient at last time when Rogue were able to clear out and force everyone downstairs because no one really wanted to test them. But NBK is not giving up territory, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see BC come back up again as well.
Thermites will set up by the tellers, try and open up the sidewall as gas canister will get thrown in. No impacts used on here, unfortunately for EG. Trying to take down the charge. Still one in the back, but the job of the Thermite's already been done. Necrox makes sure he can't do anything more. Easily he's down on the floor. Slash will come in and through the smoke try to go for a quick plant. Gio in the meantime using his equipment to push any players away, as Necrox will get one. A Gio on the refrag on a Young. 4v3 advantage for EG. So Eclipse will get one as Necrox one more. Finally, Necrox has gone down. This Canadian will already get one onto Gio. Tries to rotate around on the pulse as Eclipse will get the diffuser down, and BC wins the fight in the MPX. And EG tie this one up 4-4. and it's all slipping away from Rogue, as is, at this point, tradition, where Rogue will have the advantage, but then slowly but surely, EG bring it back up. This has to be heartbreaking for Rogue.
Well, we are seeing a bit of a mirror, and that's why you see it tied. On the other side, we had attack, defense, defense, attack, defense. Now we have attack, defense, defense again. So
Necrox is just so smart.
yeah,
He knows exactly when to peak, when the moment of maximum solitude, basically, for his opponents are. The instant that they are more focused on running away from the site or going into plant is the instant he will pounce and get a kill off of it. When you're tunnel visioned on some completely different task, he's here to strike.
we'll see if he can strike again in the harder bomb side here. This is the other one that went to the attack side last time. In fact, not only are we seeing a mirror in terms of the attack and defense wins for the most part, outside of swapping CEO for tellers, we're seeing the same bomb sites in the same order as well. Will EG be able to pull it off? If so, I would say that's a big coup here, and that could definitely lead to a potential win on this map, because this is a big one to get because it's so difficult. Canadian, though, surprisingly going to sneak over to the dock as his 6th pick. May not work as well as it almost did for NVK there, who's playing some long angles. But he's got more than enough kills on the board here to justify playing it.
Now, I want to see how EG set this one up, because their attack on it against Rogue was flawless. I mean, Canadian on his own has done quite a bit of damage on that. BC, in the meantime, using the Supernova to open up the archives into open area office. So they'll have some rotation hole. They'll also have holes to get fire down on their opponents. And the big thing is those two ACOGs, Canadian and BC. The big help for EG is Canadian has had his good times on the Rook and the Dock in the past. Bulletproof camera is set up on the 2nd floor to watch the entryway. So it seems like they're going to be focusing a lot more on the top floor to roam outside of the site and have castle barricades to protect those players.
Yeah, this is probably a lot more top-down control than we've seen this entire time outside of playing actual CEO as your bomb site. So we'll see if it pays off for him. Again, we're seeing the dock peak similar to what we saw from NVK, but from a different floor and a different player. Does spot that sledgehammer. Oh, dirty. That sledgehammer like a little shark fin. Easy target.
Easy target. Canadian getting the first kill of the round here on Eclipse. And he also has Necrox to help him out on top stairs. He can re-maneuvers. He still tries to go for the peak. No damage has been done to Rogue in that engagement, but still keeping Rogue on their toes on the very first second of the round.
Well, Canadian very, very determined to not lose this map, because this is important to the strategy, of course, this being their map pick, and one that they felt Rogue were weak on. Very important, but Slash can't land the shots.
MVK with the second one here. As Gio gets shot from the side, Canadian just keeps moving around. How is this man doing this? Just not afraid at all. Constant stream of information being relayed to EG's players. Rogue with only 2 left of Easily and Brian. Redeeming factor is that they have a hard breacher available. And what a hard breacher. Thermite and played by Easily. Fortunately for him, that wall and archives is pre-open. It is preset for Canadian to find a close angle to peek against the Thermite. He'll spray into the back, and Canadian, just stop! What are you doing? Easily gets shot down. Brian on the line, last man alive. He'll find one and can't finish Necrox off. Take control of the stairs. There's a minute left on the clock, and unfortunately for Rogue, they've been dismantled in this round.
Well, we know what the strategy for open area is now. Kill everyone the minute they enter the bank, so they can't ever get to open area.
Well, you don't have to retake if you can't. If you don't let your opponents get on the site.
Absolutely.
Smart.
Well, so far this is looking pretty bad, because he not only is he got 5 left to kill with just a tiny bit of damage to the Necrox, but he's got no diffuser. It's on the other side of the map. At this point, the best he could do is try and pad his stats, because I don't think he has enough time to literally get to the other side of the map, get the diffuser, come back and plant. Gonna have to go for a 5 frag here. At least a drone there to help.
Was that a 720 rotation for the kill? Young will get shot down. The smoke removed from play. 12 seconds left for EG. And that's all they need. There we go. NVK with a final spray the MPX, Brian will go down. Advantage for Evil Geniuses, 5-4, 1 round away from taking this after being down 4-2.
Well, after seeing how the match went between Rogue and Obey, I wouldn't be surprised to see this go into a 7-6 slugfest just the same. But now it is going to be down to the final defense. So far, defense has worked out a bit better for EG than it has for Rogue. But Rogue also getting fairly dismantled on that. And this is the Lockers attack again. One that I think they executed fairly well the first time. I'd say pretty well the second time. Unfortunately, not getting the defuse down was really the big problem. It was mostly a time management towards the actual execute issue. I don't know if they'll get caught off guard as much this time. However, we could see EG feeling a bit more comfortable on playing aggressive roam, actually sneak up and try and contest them as they enter again, now that they have some idea how Rogue attacked this, having played it twice before. I imagine they're going to look to counter that as much as possible.
And you see, in the meantime, Rogue have taken their tactical pause as they will talk to Ranger, their coach. You can tell on EG's faces that they are fairly focused and ready for this one. Only 1 round separates them from being 1 map ahead. In the meantime, Ranger will lose his privilege to speak, at least for the next bit here. Rogue definitely do need this round. They themselves only need 1 round as well to take it to overtime and have the possibility in that small best of 3 for a comeback. A potential victory on a map that started off so well for Rogue.
Well, I like the sneaky 6 pick from Young here going to Echo. And Slash actually going to finally give up on that Jackal and go over to Dokkaebi instead. I mean, they did get some good use out of Jackal, but to be fair, it didn't necessarily lead to a lot of kills, and it mostly just found that people were downstairs. They might be able to clear a bit more efficient with the phone calls and really fast droning. So it might have been a smarter play, but Canadian definitely looking to show everyone up here in terms of kills, is going to be back on that pulse.
All right, the Ella as well will be played. BC with the mute, and Young on the Echo is with Necrox yet again. Mr. Ahmad himself running smoke signature operator for Ahmad, as we've seen the SMG-11 and what he can do with it, at least on Archive, just sniping off the important players before the push even happened from Rogue. Now, how will this be played from EG? Do they have the utility to hold the stairs? Not going to be the case this time around. They'll be setting up a lot more of a traditional turtle style and try to utilize NVK for late rotations, or BC, as we saw him a couple rounds ago, to rotate later on in the round, go up the stairs, and then watch the hatches for him.
We'll see if it's going to work, because this, of course, being literally the most important round of this map in theory, because, well, they have gotten it to a map point, and if they lose this map, they go to Border, which in this case was Rogue's pick. They feel a bit more confident on that one. So I don't think it's a huge blow to Rogue to lose this map, but I think they definitely want to go for a second 2-0 of the day. We'll see if they can pull it off, as Slash is clearing very quickly without needing to use his phone calls. So he's going to have at least one of those for a bit further here once they start to move down a floor. See if that makes a difference. In the meantime, of course, Eclipse watching the stairwell. This is what they're always concerned about. Those server stairs are such a big pivotal problem, but EG are never really too big on contesting them the way that Rogue are.
We'll see, of course, the Hibana is banned in this matchup, so you have to be very smart about which hatches you take down. Of course, you can't just go for anything and everything. So easily is running the Thermite this round for Rogue. Brian on the Lion, and Eclipse in the meantime going with the drones. So far, EG are not contesting Rogue in the round, making them potentially get into their safe space. Then once Rogue are tunnel visioned onto that final push with little seconds, precious seconds left on the clock, she will try to pounce on Rogue to finish off this map. Though the mute is available, and there you go, the hatch was not blocked. It will get destroyed, and assume they're going to use the second one on the sidewall and not on the skylight hatch.
Yep, they have the extra time. They're getting down with a minute again and getting control of servers. That's where they stood last time, but then they were not able to make the push from there and bait out enough of Necrox's smokes. So they're going to need to start to open things up quickly this time and not deal with someone behind the desk for as long.
All right, Gio checking in the Jmot mines. Zofia open up a wider hole to contest the red hallway. Main doorway. Gio watching for potential rotations in the late game. The Young, in the meantime, still here in the garage. You always put the Echo in there because you just want to make sure there's no late game rotations from your opponent, something that we've seen Pengu doing in our very first semi-final of the day. C4 being chucked and utility expended. And this gas canister will get thrown in at the 15-second mark. Clips will chuck a grenade into the back and will not connect with any of the defenders from EG. Young still on the opposite end, watching for late rotations. Gio coming down onto the site, but the dual kill from Eclipse. The grenade connects, but at the wrong players, and Canadian getting the last kill on the C4. EG are fired up.
I got to imagine that is a great feeling for EG to come this far on their map, but it's also going to feel especially bad for Rogue, knowing those team kills really sealed the deal in that round. It was amazing to see it get down to 9 seconds.
He's
without
so
a
hyped
kill.
up. He is so hyped up. This is Canadian unstoppable. And EG are definitely feeling good about this one here. I don't think there's enough cold water in the building to quench that thirst.
Seems like they want to get them up. You see the coach there, BK, trying to get them up, get them moving, maybe making sure they take a bathroom break or at least stretch their legs a little bit. When the losing team sits like this, I always feel like that makes it that much more likely that they're going to lose the next map. It's just a lack of shaking it off, something that we heard Fabian talking about, shaking it off and resetting between maps. Sitting there at your computer is not the way to reset. Get up and celebrate the victories you did have. Celebrate getting to 4 on the opposing team's map. Celebrate the fact that it took a team kill for them to beat you. And, you know, at least spin it a little bit to get you, just get up.
Move, shake it out of your system before you get back into the match. If you just sit down, all you'll feel is not really good about what you've done in that very first map. Big problem is, first of all, they're not really holding off against potential last round rotations. Well, once that was fixed, it was team kills. That was the really big deadly punch at the end. Even though time was available, utility had been used up to clear out any defenders playing in the hallway or in the back of it. But Canadian playing so well today. The entirety of the team here from EG showing up, but very much have to highlight Canadian in this here. Early start from Rogue so well, but then the instant EG got the ball rolling, they were unstoppable.
Well, we'll see if they can pull that over to Border as well, where these teams are both evenly matched, at least based off of their match history so far, as we had a 6-2 from both teams against their respective opponents, although for Rogue that was FaZe, and for EG that was Element Mystic. So both teams good at that map. Of course, they have been good at it for quite a while. It's not a new map to them, but looks like some fantastic plays though here. Overall, I would say that was a very good map for both teams. Just unfortunately, EG being able to pull out a little bit more ahead at team kill. It just that chaos of the pushes here.
Canadian so good. Those pixel angles being held by him, and there we go. Can we get a hey guys for PKN? Bacon being so happy here, seeing himself on the screen. And you know what, they're not too far away, EG, from getting on the big stage tomorrow, facing off against G2, a rematch from the 6th Invitational 2018 Grand Final, the best of 5. And we'll have a best of 5 with unlimited overtime on every single map tomorrow. That will be an insane matchup no matter what. But right now, it is definitely Evil Geniuses that are on top. Rogue trying to recover from that loss on map 1 Bank.
Well, let's hope for Rogue's sake that they can push it all the way to console, because that was a map that EG really didn't show well yesterday. Could see a repeat of that, and that could be what give Rogue the push to be able to take it home. But of course, they have to win a map first to get there. But I think there is a good chance between these two teams we could see it go to 3. But even in Rogue's wins, they have been very close. 2 7-6s against Obey shows that Rogue tend to get it down to the wire and don't always manage to pull it off, as was the case here in what was very close to being an overtime. Rogue, though, have got to be focused. They just need to get out of their heads for a minute, though, and take a breath get ready for the next map, reset. They have their, you heard Slash talk about it in his interview, they have their game plan. If they execute well on their game plan, they win. The problem is sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get a little bit distracted in terms of what they're trying to do. They get a little too into the fights they want to take, or a little too focused on what the other team's doing, in the sense that they're not really playing their game anymore. They're playing EG's game.
Right now, EG definitely at the helm. And this is something you mentioned right now at the end. Yes, you can't allow EG to play their game. Because as you saw, once they get into the flow of things, they're impossible to stop almost. And even for a team like G2, it was a huge uphill battle to try and shut them down. And it seems like, as is always the case, that EG are the big kryptonite of Rogue.
But this is their chance to make some history for themselves, as they have struggled under under EG's shadow for a long time. So being able to take them down here would be a huge, huge boost for this team. But we're going to get right on into Border and jump to the map phase now. Last time when they played this, both teams banned different operators, so chances are we could see a Thermite, Mira, and Ying Echo ban. But as I say that, there goes Blackbeard.
Makes a lot of sense.
Something Rogue banned quite often during the Pro League season. So something they definitely do not want to deal with here.
Especially knowing that EG are not afraid to bring the Blackbeard on this map. It'll help them out holding off rotations to their opponents. Thermite will be banned by EG. Not surprising. More often than not, we'll see at least one of the Hard Breachers being banned out when playing on Border.
Very likely to see either Mira or Echo to go next as well. But yeah, Thermite definitely going to be a big deal here, of course, on this map. But both teams are prepared to play that. That is something that is common enough that I don't imagine it's going to catch a Rogue too off here. They're going to be ready for it.
And last ban, as you mentioned, possibly an Echo or a Maestro. Two operators that have been removed quite a bit. But we have seen a lot of Pulse bans just to deny any plays from the downstairs. And no Vigil again from Rogue. And this is a map that we've seen Canadian time and time again do a ton of damage on, just by being able to rotate and using his impacts to huge advantage, engaging his opponents through walls whilst they were not ready for him at all.
Well, we have talked time and time again throughout this tournament, including the group stages, about the importance of time management and how big a factor it's been. So being able to stop a very good roamer from doing his thing is a great way to do that, because not only do you not have to chase him down, you stop him dead in his tracks and that he cannot do that role. But it doesn't matter so much right now because Rogue are on the defense to start out with. So we'll see if they can make work. Slash playing that Rook that he occasionally does bring out very effectively with that ACOG. We'll see if he's going to be a big thing here. But it is nice to see whenever BC plays that Buck, he's a very good Buck player. And if that will be a big impact or not. But Necroc's going to be the one to take up the Lion Mantle this time instead of NBK, which I think has worked out historically probably a bit better than NBK playing it.
Where will this go? Will there be a sixth pick? Nope, not in our very first round. So both teams sticking around to the operator lineup that we had. Armory and Archives will be the first site that we play in. Of course, Mira's not available here, so more often than not, we see a lot of holding potential around the fountain, around the office to protect the Archives. We've seen it a couple days ago when Millennium were playing, where they would play more around CCTV and just completely blow out the walls in the fountain. And here it'll be a very similar style of setup. Walls being opened up and reinforcement in CCTV on a half wall to play from behind it. Exactly the same that we saw Millennium, especially in the group stage, running on Border.
We also saw a backfire on some teams in that they were opening up angles for the attackers to use. Now, of course, Slash being on Rook means he can play some long angles, which means he may be able to utilize those as well. I gotta imagine easily also probably gonna be on the ACOG unless he brought the Supernova, so they are gonna have to try and control that as much as possible, because as we mentioned before, that can really work against you. You need to make sure that that stays in your control, or you're gonna get picked off with CCTV.
Now BC on the Buck, as literally half of chat goes wild. Definitely a great combo. We've seen him do quite well in general, but also BC on Buck is a pretty darn good treat.
Well, just remember, you can't spell Buck without B and C.
Ah, nice wordplay there, definitely.
So much thought put in there.
That's actually very true. He's been looking at the dictionary the whole day. But NVK to continue on with the droning here, the Havana, the main hallway will get spotted as they move into the office. There we go. The standard position by Geo's Bandit is inside of the office. EMP will get thrown in as Slash is trying to find the angle. Can't really get things done. NVK taking a lot of damage, but Slash is still alive, even though he gets tagged decent chunk. They're in equal levels of HP as NVK is kept alive. He's, again, the only hard breacher available in this matchup, especially in this round for EG. As Maverick is not yet part of the Team 6 roster.
Could you imagine, though, if Slash had been able to land that kill on NVK? That would have definitely made a big difference on this round because, of course, as you said, being the only hard breacher and the fact that the entire wall was reinforced means this would have been a very difficult push. And they would have had to switch sides, potentially, or pinch, and that probably would have been very difficult. However, that being said, they did manage to get the wall at least partially opened, so they are in a decent place here, but they have to get the Bandit player out of that room, and that's not being easy to do here.
Grenade chucked in the back, but Young will find the angle on Slash. Take down the Rook, the ACOG. Low on health from that previous engagement against the Habana, but Geo jumps in. Will finish off BC before he can use all of his utility. He'll freeze in place for just a second as Necrox has used his E1D, moving in through the barbed wire by the main stairs. And now the fountain waiting area plus the CCTV have been opened up. Spot one player on the rotation, but Necrox on the jump will get taken down. And will get shot down by Eclipse on the Jaeger. Advantage here for Rogue, only losing the Rook, but the Lion and the Buck, and now NVK and the Habana are down on the floor. Eclipse will maneuver back into CCTV to play from the wall. Young moving in as easily gets one on NVK, playing the aggressive Echo. You're seeing quite a bit of play from him like that. There's still a Yokai put in place. 12 seconds though left on the clock as Young will go in and get the finisher on easily. Brian though with one, and Geo will find the second on the Bandit as he rotates back up to help out his teammates, and there you go. All he needed to do is move in from the eastern stairs and using the Habana angle. Previously opened up the balcony to his advantage. He'll land the last one. And there you go. Young, beautiful engagement onto Slash.
Well, their ability to play defensive that office so effectively absolutely paid off for them, managing to snag some kills in the actual trades back and forth, trying to get control of that. Left them desperate to try and find a different angle. You saw the try and attempted push around from the side by Necrox, completely getting caught off guard. Unfortunately for him, that was due to him giving away his own position with those shots, leading to him getting shot mid-jump. It was a great attempt, but they just seemed to lack an idea on how to take apart that defense once they started losing people. Fantastic play by the Bandit, who I believe was probably Geo, smartly playing against that Buck later on, timing it perfectly and coming out at the right time. However, BC is going to switch off to another but similar role for Ventilation here. We'll see if Ventilation is Rogue's friend here. This is a bomb site that they definitely play well, and one that I would say a lot of teams play well, so definitely one they could potentially take. But if they do, that means they will have to go to the third bomb site where likely Evil Geniuses will be able to find a way to get at least one attack win.
All right, Geo in on the Bandit yet again, as Rogue will still reinforce in the offices. Still have, of course, the Echo to get used, and this time it's Slash on the Echo instead of Easily. So it'll be interesting to see how they play him compared to Easily's playstyle. That is a lot more of not really run and gun, but as close as it gets. Not shying away at all from getting aggressive against his opponents when need be. Now the hatch has not been reinforced just yet in the archive. Now look at the amount of shock wires that have been set up in the office. This is big hold from Rogue, focusing a lot on the office, fountain, and archive.
Well, he's definitely going to set up quite a bit here. You see him kind of almost antsy at this point to try and get in some fights and get things going. Something you mentioned about from Easily. Now, Slash also can tend to get overly aggressive early, so having either of them on an Echo can be a bit dangerous here. But Easily is going to be playing it a bit differently from this castle. Now, he has 2 impact grenades, but probably isn't going to need to use either of them. So this is a position where he can kind of play fairly aggressively and not be a huge important part of the utility for this defense. So they are going to go for a similar attack, though, trying to take offices yet again. This time not going to be trying to contest the hallway with the Habana of NVK. Instead, they're just going to stack up right here and hope that Young does his job. Almost
here, Easily getting the spot on Young. He's playing the Archives boost,
wow,
and Easily finds the kill on Young. Thatcher's been eliminated. So has been the diffuser at least set on the floor. In the meantime, Necrox using the E1D to his advantage. A bit of damage done here, I believe team damage. As Canadian on the Zofia tries to maneuver himself into the office. Dual grenade launcher, entirety of the lifelines has been used. The run out though from Easily. He'll get one, he'll get two off of it. Slash with one more onto Canadian. Necrox is last alive as Rogue. Not shying away from aggressive play, finding the opportunity and seizing it. Necrox on his own yet again. Still one E1D available, one charge for a player here from EG. Will have to face against the entire might, well, almost the entire might of Rogue. Tries to come into the workshop, and Necrox found by Brian, shot down by the gas canister. That's Rogue with a very convincing second round as well.
Well, that was definitely Rogue completely reading into the fact that EG were going to want to attack from offices again. Fantastic read, because they stacked up their defense on offices and doubled down on making sure that that was where they defended. EG fell right into the trap. That first kill on the Young, definitely a great way to start it, but Easley's run out, as you see here, that was really what sealed the deal and made sure they were able to hold it. Not to mention the difficulty in trying to find any angle despite knowing where they were. Great plays by Canadian though, but now it's on the bathroom, and this is where we see another fight over offices. This time though, that's the real important part of this, is taking offices as opposed to it being a bridge to a different room.
A bridge over the River Kwai at this point for Rogue, as they'll still have to survive through the second map to take it into the third one. For now, it's them at least leading on border. Defenses have been impeccable on Rogue's end. This EG have not been able to find a single opening to exploit.
I got to imagine this time, obviously, they're not going to attack from right outside office. At least not in the same way. That's so predictable. It's definitely going to be, let's attack a bit from the archives or Armory Locker side a bit more, I would imagine. Easily though, with 4 kills there, partially due to his fantastic run out.
Oh yes. Very smart. He realized that that was the case. They were all lined up on the balcony, and after he had gotten the first kill on EG, it just kind of slowed EG down way, way too much. And, you know, it takes only a second to run in from one end of the balcony to the other, pretty much of where he's coming from the archives door. Runs out, gets 2 kills off of it, and there you go. That was all that was required by Rogue and Easily. That's why, for me, he is one of, if not the most flexible operator player in the entirety of North America.
Yep, I would definitely agree with that. In this case, though, it was surprising that they actually have switched roles again,
yep,
to where Geo and Easily have switched roles. So instead of Geo playing on that bandit and Easily on the castle, they have completely flipped that. We'll see how well they do on that this time, but I mean, it seems like an interesting choice, because I can't imagine why you would need to make that switch.
Well, now on Bathroom Tellers, we'll see how this goes as NVK has his X-Kairos into the site. This will allow EG to hold late game, so they don't need to open up the whole thing. If you had a Thermite, it would make a lot more sense. You can't just walk in and go for a plant, because everything is preset and opened by Rogue on the top stairs to contest you. So you need to walk in, and here is something that doesn't work usually. It's having a player in the armory, as most of your defense will be set in the archive and in the fountain. Walls all being left soft by Rogue to push EG and lure them into their trap.
Well, smartly, they do back off of it, realizing it was not working. So Great was going to be contested pretty quickly there by NVK. They're also going to open up angles from BC on that sledge and use those along with the angles open up in the small office. I like this, the way they could fight all the way to archives and metal. However, they have not found any kills, because the rest of Rogue just stacked right on back up. And then, of course, you're going to have 2 people playing downstairs, so no surprise there either.
So again, on the Bandit, switching around from what we had in the previous round. NVK moving in the armory, finds the head. Easily will go down. E1D being used up. Now, I was talking to Rogue's coach, Ranger, when we were in Valencia about this exact same site. He's like, you know what, this is not a great site for us, because the instant you lose top floor control, you kind of just get an easy plant if you're on the attacking side. But for the defense, it's about burning as much time as humanly possible. And right now, things are working out pretty well for Rogue. With a minute left, gas canister should get chucked in here by Brian, and the pre-opened holes will allow him to contest He went into the bathroom. BC, Godnade on to Slash. Still downstairs. D1D was used up, but Necrox is unable to use it to his advantage. Eclipse taking down the castle barricade, but Necrox will get the spot. But Brian, the finisher on to Young. 4v3 advantage for EG, but they're 30 seconds on the clock, and they still have not had a clear way opening to the site. And as I say that, Canadian finds the headshot on Geo behind the objective. NVK to pull out the bearing 9. Brian in the meantime getting the shotgun kill on a BC. Straight to the head. The team kill, no! Necrox coming in! Necrox to clutch at the 2K at the end of the round. As EG secure their first round on Border.
Well, you can't feel too good knowing it is their third bomb site, but at the same time, they were able to pull it off despite the team kill there, despite Necrox getting tagged up a bit earlier and managing to dodge away from it, and potentially being surrounded there, although some of that was due to him catching Eclipse trying to tear down that castle barricade. Smart plays here. Brian, I like the way he was trying to use his little tiny bullet holes for a while. Played a very good defense there inside offices for as long as he could, but unfortunately it ultimately falls, and he is forced to rotate down. But overall, just a series of good plays by Rogue, shut down by some even better plays by EG. And some of that definitely credit to some just really confident gunplay coming out from players like NVK and Canadian, even if they didn't always land on kills. Back up to lockers, though, to try this again. And if they win it, then I imagine back to vents.
EG on the very early tactical pause here in the entryway to round 4. We'll be calling it to have a quick chat with their coach and manager, Mr. Bacon, Mr. Jordan himself. In the meantime, it's Ranger discussing with his team. As mind you again, both teams can talk to their coaches in the meantime, no matter who calls the tactical pause. Very talkative here on the EG side.
The stone cold face.
Oh yes.
He's telepathically
like,
berating them.
I can't believe you guys are saying this.
Yeah. The things they're thinking right now. Well, we'll see though. We are going to see some potential role shifts again for Armory Lockers this time. BC is, at least for now, going to be back on that buck until things get switched around if they do by 6th pick. NBK this time going to be pulling out the Dokkaebi potentially. Some of these roles most likely to stay because they are fairly consistent with them. Some of them more likely to switch, like NVK's. We saw BC's swap up earlier as well. Rogue, I don't feel like likely to switch unless Slash wants to trick out that pulse for someone else.
There's no real reason.
There we go. Canadian actually going to bring. All right, the Glaz it is. We'll see how well that works out for him. It's always been interesting with him using that on this map in particular.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
We'll see how well it is put to play. There's a few ways to get things done with your Glaz. You can either set him up on the ventilation roof and try to play from there. You can just have him someone that protects from CCTV or from the back. If you're going to be pushing in from the main armory wall, you can use him as well by the balcony. And so far, EG's push from the balcony didn't work out too well, as Rogue were always able to find some sort of opener on their opponent, especially now with Slash running the pulse. Eclipse with a half reinforcement inside of the desk of the armory. Yeah, Fountain pretty much left completely open from Rogue.
Well, the lineup from NVK, or from NVK, I was looking right at him, from EG definitely does scream a Lockers push because you have the setup to be able to open up the wall with the Hibana and then smoke with Dokkaebi and Glaz and use Glaz to cover while you go for a plant, and then Lion, of course, to freeze them, Buck to play from below. That seems like the ideal way for them to play this out, using the utility of all the operators to clear those lockers and get that plant down. However, you're going to have Slash, for example, on that pulse, who's going to need to be taken out for that to work, as well as easily on that Yokai, and then Brian on the smoke. So there's quite a few defenders that they're going to need to get through first, but the smoke overall is going to be the big dominating factor for both sides here, I think, in terms of being able to get that plant down.
PK moving into the east stairs. And on the Dokkaebi, BC just taking down the camera. The default cams being taken down on the server. Just making sure that there's no player that is set up in that server room, as usually the Pulse will be playing from here to support the Bandit that is playing from the top floor. And it's up to EG. You should leave with the Zofia, but you can also get it done with the combo of the Dokkaebi and the Buck to move in and take him out, take down the bandit batteries that are also set up top side, and maybe force Geo out of position close up. He tries to go for a bandit battery, you know, a bit of a juggle. Play from the half wall. Necrox, control of the security room. Oddly enough, the hallway wall has not been reinforced, so Necrox can definitely have an opener here, but just destroying a bit of the wall, and NVK can just look through it, hold the angle rotation in the hallway.
Unfortunately for Easily, he manages to lose both Yokais, and then the C4 throw doesn't manage to connect from Slash. This is starting to be a lot of utility lost here. Did not get a lot of damage done on EG. Maybe you're burning a tiny bit of time, but not much. EG looking pretty strong to be able to take this, and Slash already taking a few hits as well, potentially from the explosion of those X-Kairos. So this is again going to come down potentially to time management and whether or not Rogue can stall them out any further with their smokes and the remaining Yokai.
And NVK just still holding off rotations from the open wall. Gas canisters and smokes will get chucked in here by both teams. Slash in the meantime still relaying information from the fountain. Canadian will move in on the glass, trying to be the point man here for EG, and there you go. Points up, Brian takes it down. Geo in the meantime though, refrag onto MVK. Necrox still holding on, spraying the whole mag. He takes down one, he finds the two! Necrox with one. BC with another, easily though, finally taking down Canadian, but BC with a finisher here at a 2-2 to end the round.
Definitely a much better take from that side than what they were trying to do on offices previously. Of course, it was predictable, I would say, that they were going to rotate around for a different side, but it was interesting to see that Rogue still committed batteries instead to the offices wall, just to make sure that that was something they weren't going to have to worry about, knowing that they were going to lose that lockers wall and not trying to contest it. But some great fights going on here, unfortunately, against Rogue for the most part, partially due to Canadian on that glass, putting a lot of pressure on their positioning.
Easily with a valiant effort. Valiant and violent effort.
Absolutely.
At the end, trying to find some way to bring his team back into that round. Does not end up working for Rogue. Score is tied. Heading into round number 5, our final round in this very first half of our second map. A border between EG and Rogue. Will there be a 6th pick here? So far, nothing really has changed for both teams from a previous round. Now we should be going back to Rogue's choice of Armory and Archives.
Yeah, they're going to try the lockers again. This time, though, they've got to be prepared, of course, for attacks from both sides. The lineup does scream that they're going to attack from the locker side again. So, will they change that up? Will they try and get the wall open on the back side and then use Canadian from there instead? I wouldn't think it was likely, considering how hard it could be to take out those batteries if they are set up there again, because they do not have a Thatcher or anything that's going to make that easy. But you never know. They could find a way to make this work. They could go, for example, for a grenade down the chimney, as I like to call it, try and see if they can potentially hit that bandit. That is one way to do it if you time it just right, and then with that bandit dead, makes it a little bit easier. However, they are going to have the Echo Drone and the smoke again to deal with, as well as Slash, to be able to read into where they're pushing. Last time, though, he made a bit of a risky play, and it didn't really pay off, so he might have to play a little bit smarter this time. Really, they just need to find a better way to counter the push from Canadian into the room, get him down earlier. If you kill the Glaz, you're so much more secure inside those lockers, and that's exactly what needs to happen here. Maybe he was hoping to do that with that C4 throw last time, but it does look like Easily maybe committing his batteries once again to the Armory Lockers wall instead of offices.
Yeah, we've seen BC using that quote-unquote chimney on the cupola rooftop to his advantage in the past. I've seen him as well wearing a full Santa suit as he drops those beautiful presents from the chimney. Fortunately, to the detriment of his opponents. This one here, EG using their mags to open up walls to hold off rotations and have angles on the rogue players. In the meantime, NVK continuing with the drone in. He finds that only half of the wall has been banditry, so they should be, or at least bandit in general, do have an extendable shield to protect the bandit. There's Rogue. And NVK just opening things up here. He'll use the wall to his advantage. And there you go. Bandit battery will get set up by the second half. Slash in the meantime scanning in to make sure there's no player below. If Slash is not on this duty right here, then they would not have pushed the Bandit up so far. Would have been a risk, but they're comfortable making it, knowing that Slash can feed information back to the Bandit, and there you go. Now they get the spot. They are waiting one player to come in from below, and easily has already been set to counter it.
Definitely burned up a lot more time this time without playing the CCTV at all, but another miss C4 here is going to be a big problem. The deployable shield is a nice adjustment, but now they're getting set up potentially for this push as the wall gets opened.
The Canadian will have to fall back as the UND is used. Again, Rogue using up their equipment as Glips will find the first kill on Necrox. Takes a lot of damage, but the Lion eliminated. An UND is still available for the Lion. Canadian just checking the desk to know if there's anybody in there, and that is the smoke of Rogue. Brian playing there as he can chuck the gas canister right on his feet, and it goes through the tiny seeps in the wall to disrupt those in the back from the attacking end. And there you go. Canadian will have to take a couple sniffs from what's inside of that smoke canisters. Nobody knows what's hit it. He gets the spot on the smoke, but he can't get the finisher just yet. There you go. He's stuck inside of the smoke. Will have to fall back. And Canadian is somehow still alive through this ordeal. Eclipse taking down the drones. The final rotation, but Slash comes in. He can find the angle and he goes down. Young getting the kill on a Slash. As Rogue are falling apart. Eclipse low on health in the Jaeger. Too late. Hold the angle and rotation from the window of ventilation. He pulls out the pistol, goes in for the buck. Taking down BC, pistol in hand. 3 players left, low on health from EG, but the Habana there from Young will find the last kill. And just rappelling off the balcony. Playing the long angle with the ACOG, an easy kill there at the end for EG as the first half will go the way of Evil Geniuses, the current top North American squad, putting themselves firmly on a 3-2 scoreline.
That was definitely an unfortunate misplay by Slash in missing his shots.
That's why you run the pulse out, because the instant the repelling player is down, you have a much, much easier way of just going in and going for a plant. You'll have support from below if need be, and you can cut off rotations as well by rotating very quickly for the pulse to play on the stairs. You can play from CCTV, head into the armory lockers. A lot of options that are available. Unfortunately there, it all needed to start with the kill on the Habana, and that did not connect.
Yeah, it is unfortunate they chose to ban Blackbeard instead of Glaz, because that seemed to work out, I would say, very well for Canadian both times. It wasn't always getting all of the kills, but again, it put all the pressure on them. The deployable shield wasn't enough to really stop it, and in fact, I feel like Canadian used that deployable shield a little bit to his own advantage when he went to peek the smoke from the hole down at the bottom, just barely catching him. So just that Glaz is so powerful with his ability to see through smoke, and that yellow highlight combined. It is so hard to counter, but so far it's not going to come out from Rogue, even though they obviously have the option. They're instead going to play a little bit differently. We're going to see Slash bringing that IQ, and Brian bringing his usual Thatcher that he's very, very good at. So this could definitely turn things around for Rogue if they can make a successful attack against this bomb site that they have tried many times to defend themselves.
All right, with the 5 kills here for Young on the board, it's an equilibrium when it comes to kills between both teams. Seems like every round that is won by one or the other are fairly convincing, with 3 or more players that are left alive on attack or defense.
Well, this is make it or break it for Rogue for sure, because of course EG winning map 1 means they lose this, they are done, and their chances at finally being in another NA final would be shot out here. So they're definitely going to have to bring something special on attack here, because EG seemed very, very prepared for it with the lineup that they brought. We saw how effective NVK was on that dock, which he 6-picked too this time.
Rogue have never been in a grand final in a Rainbow Six tournament so far.
Yeah, that is...
They're looking for it. They want it so bad, but unfortunately, we'll have to go through EG. And you know what? You want to be the best, you got to beat as many opponents as possible, and making sure that you at least show everybody that you're the best in North America before going to that EU versus NA Grand Final. Definitely something that'll help you out. Now the Claymore has been set by the IQ Slashes again. IQ does not have for M67 grenades anymore. And just joining in on the balcony, making sure information is being relayed to the rest of Rogue before they go for any execution on the site. Eclipse is holding off the Eastern Stairs, Necrox in Customs, but it's Canadian. They'll find the first one on Geo with the MPX. The run out closes things up and moves that the sledge taken away.
No damage taken to him, as well as still having his C4 intact. He's in a good position to probably get another kill this round if they fall into it, because now they're not going to have any idea where he's playing. He's going to rotate off of that spot, but at least one camera spotted, Slash hopefully catching some of the others, because that intel is definitely working to his advantage.
Yeah, of course, now the range from the IQ is down to 15 meters from the 20, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. You can't really scan things at the same distance as you could before. You gotta put yourself more in the line of fire than you could in the past, where you would scan one room and then the one behind it, really. So Brian using the opened up Habana hole to his advantage. There isn't Yokai on the roof. They're unable to take it out, at least on the ceiling.
Yeah, it seems like they're just going to go and ping for it, let the rest of the team know that that's there, so they are prepared, assuming he doesn't get rotated. Thatcher, though, could disable it temporarily if it happens to hit, but the stunt here coming on easily.
Easily trying to time things out with the E1D. The first kill will go to NVK here. They're looking for potential utility set on the side of the site. That's the Yokai that'll ease things in. Young with a finisher on easily 5v2. Advantage for EG, but Brian will get one. 2 seconds left on the clock. Not much time left, as the defender's just off of time. Will take the round. EG forcing Rogue to push in with not much time remaining. See, even in Paris, even in Europe, Devin, there are EG fans in the crowd ready and waiting for a potential victory from our top North American team here. Rogue, in the meantime, will be calling for a tactical pause, as this will be both tactical pauses in this map being used up. One by each one of our two teams. And Ranger trying to rally the troops and put them back together. So check out a few of the highlights here earlier on. NVK finding the headshot on Eclipse. Great start for them, and Young just using the shotgun to his advantage. Just absolute domination from EG.
It definitely felt like Rogue just kept walking into a lot of those shots, a lot of those traps. I mean, that started with, of course, the run out, or jump out rather, from Canadian, a fantastic play using his own intel that he placed outside. And that is why you see so many teams starting to ban Valkyrie, for exactly that reason, to stop those kind of moves. Because Pulse, you know, he has only so much range, but you get those cameras out there with a ton of view of different sides of the building on a map where rappelling is so prevalent, and you get a lot of deaths, much like on Consulate. So let's hope Rogue have some good ideas. Let's hope Ranger saw what they're doing wrong, let them know what they can do to bring this back, because this is, well, there's a reason why both pauses have already been used, because this is such an important map. Because EG look like they are on their way, potentially, to meeting G2 tomorrow.
All it takes now from EG are 2 rounds being won. Once those are done, they are qualified. They will go to the grand final to play against G2. Again, the rematch from 6 Invitational 2018 in Montreal, Canada. Will this be the repeat of history? Will Rogue take it to map 3? It might all hinge on this round, as EG winning this will guarantee them a minimum of overtime to fight Rogue at the end of this map.
Well, no 6th pick trickery. However, we will see some interesting changes. We're going to see this time Slash on Ash and then BC on Maestro. Should be interesting.
I think Rogue realized that they need a bit more aggression to face off against their opponents. Now Eclipse bringing the sledge definitely does help them in taking down the floorboards upstairs. So a big part of the attack here from Rogue is to take control of Armory Lockers, Archives, Fountain, and the Office. Once that is done, you need to make sure you take them in no more than a minute and a half. By the minute and a half mark, you should have control of those rooms, and if so, you're looking pretty good at being able to use those sledgehammer shots to open things up, use them to your advantage, and possibly find a hit on the defenders. Now, the interesting part is that EG on defense are not running a castle, which is an operator we usually see quite a bit of on this defense and workshop and ventilation.
Yeah, it is interesting to see that. Not only that, but they're not running any kind of denial for the reinforcements upstairs. So that means getting open this wall right here from easily is going to be easily done, because they're not running a mute, they're not running a bandit. They're really focused on more denial downstairs and maybe just gunfights upstairs. If they can engage those, of course, that's going to be a lot on Necrox, who's surprisingly playing a bit more of the roam operator that I feel like would be maybe better played by Canadian or MVK. But we'll see, though. It could be very useful on him if he's able to actually get those Grismont mines in the right place to get the intel for his team as well as making the plays.
Yeah, very utility-based operator pick from EG. As again, they forego the smoke, not just the castle. As you highlighted, Necrox playing the smoke, which is what he usually does. He'll be on the Polish operator. Geometrics, in the meantime, using his scanner. Get info as Necrox. There we go on the Ella. Getting the first one on easily. That's the Habana, the only hard breacher taken away. It's one angle that at least will be denied by EG. As you'll see, the rotation immediately down onto the site. EG making sure that they get picks and then follow up with turtle play, just to be sure that their opponents of Rogue cannot start picking them off one by one, not lose the advantage, but Eclipse just runs on in and gets the kill on a Youngin. This is why you usually would see a castle being played instead of just putting a random barricade up in front. Young, the Echo will get removed from play as the Sledge and the Habana are off the board for Rogue.
Interesting to see them both lose very important operators, losing the hard breacher, but then also losing your only complete denial operator. Means it's definitely going to come down to gunfights here in the end, but those are currently in the advantage of EG. So Slash is going to have to try and get some kills of his own here to try and pick things up a bit.
Slash moving in from the side as Canadian just positions himself in the customs area. Could happen for on the Ash coming in, but Geo will find the kill on NVK to turn it into a 3v3. Quick shot from Necrox though on a Slash, and Canadian from the back will find one. Geo last alive yet again. As it comes in through the beepers downstairs. There's a player waiting for him as well by Customs. So he'll be making some noise in the Jaeger Canadian for the last one. EG 1 round away from total annihilation. 5-2 versus Rogue.
I guess it's got to be even harsher to not only lose the first map. Not a big deal, that was EG's pick. This was Rogue's pick, and they're losing it even worse than they did the other map. This is a tough spot to be in. Only having won 2 rounds so far, they're going to go to Customs instead of Bathrooms for their 3rd bomb site here. This could be where we finally see Rogue get a round out of this, but this is a bomb site that EG used to be very good at. Know very well they don't have the same utility, but they absolutely know how to play this bomb site. This is not going to be easy, but at least it's their 3rd bomb site. This is the best chance you have because this is the one they are the least prepared to defend successfully.
Yeah, 2 teams in the past 8 or so months have proved that they're very proficient at this defense at Customs and Supply Room. G2 and EG, both pioneers in their own regions of this hold. And we'll see if EG can finish it off right here against Rogue. All it takes from EG is this one single round as Rogue will attempt to claw it back for a 5-5. The only way for Rogue to survive is to go to overtime and there even fight for survival to get the map 3.
Yeah, and then of course to actually win map 3. So yeah,
everything playing against Rogue in this matchup here. It seems like just again the kryptonite of Rogue. EG, so difficult for them to deal with.
One thing that does worry me though is Slash on that Ying. While it was a nice 6th pick, he has a tendency to play Ying very over aggressively in the sense that he will go in, maybe get 1 kill, but he tends to die on those breaches without a good follow-up from the rest of his teammates, especially players like Geo, and then getting a nice EE1D from Brian. Without those following it up, it just tends to not work. And I worry that they are going to throw all their eggs in that basket and die just trying to get into CCTV the way things are going for them.
And Brian, in the meantime, in the Lion, coming into the eastern balcony. Just spotting things out, making sure there's nobody on the eastern stairs from EG to contest Rogue's early entry. Hold from CCTV for EG is very important. Rogue will try their damnedest here darnest to deal their opponents in the back. Once CCTV is taken, that is step one for Rogue completed. We approach the 2-minute mark here on the board. I'll remind you that there's been quite a few rounds that are won and lost by time on its own. As we'll say again, timing is everything, but also that time that you see up on the board, that is your most valuable resource if you're on the attacking side.
Well, there's definitely plenty of defensive setup here to try and contest this. They're going to look to take some map control around CCTV first to push it, and they're already using an EE1D to try and push in here. Thankfully for the defenders, they have fallen off. They are not going to be contested here, but this is going to work towards taking CCTV control. One smoke canister already been used by Necrox, at least some utility burn with a minute 25 left, but they are denying any kind of easy entry into the room. Slash is going to have to use these Candelas combined with teamwork very, very wisely, or this is going to be over fast.
And Necrox just peeking. Oh no, he goes down to Slash. In the meantime, the Ella of MVK dropping down, not sure if intentional or not, but at least scurries away, saving his skin this round. E1D, second one, will get used up. 58 seconds on the clock. Slash with the second one, utilizing the Candela. It's T95 to finish off Canadian. BC playing in the back of Customs. As NVK is watching the drop hatch from CCTV. In the meantime, Young is playing along the workshops, trying to hold the flank of EG. That's why you don't put all your players in one spot. Slash again finding the angle on NVK. BC can't get it. Geo from the side, and all up to Young as he tries to contest the Lion. Brian taking a lot of damage, but the C4 will get used by Young as the diffuser will get planted. He'll be facing against the complete onslaught of Rogue as Rogue finally secure a round and starts to get things rolling. Fortunately for Rogue, they still have a couple rounds to go to and win before they tie it up and go to overtime.
Well, it was good to see Slash go from 1 kill to getting a 3K that round. Definitely proving me wrong in terms of his Ying play. He played it a lot more conservatively that time. Managed to catch Necrox at the right time, though, was definitely a big part of it because he started to lower the amount of contests happening in CCTV. Therefore, when he went for his Candela push, not quite as suicidal as we've seen him do in the past, much more reserved, and it paid off by far. But again, that was their weaker bomb site. Now they get to go back to their primary armory lockers, and this is where the rubber really meets the road because they're going to have to win not only this round, but then the next round, which will either be this bomb site or vents. Something also they've been, but there we go. Slash gonna keep things extra interesting with the teased Ying. We'll see if he can play just as well as Canadian did. NVK also tricking up a little bit, but not quite as big of a surprise.
All right, see how the Legion gets played in, again, what is potentially the last round of our second semifinal. As tomorrow we'll be crowning a grand finalist and grand champion of the first ever Rainbow Six Siege Major. For now, it's all up to Rogue. See how this one goes through. BC, the Supernova on the Echo to support Young with the smoke. Again, I'll call it one thing. It's SimCity. You set up the site, you blow things around, and you remodel the site. That's why you bring these dual shotguns to make sure that you have more than enough soft destruction on the defense early on.
Well, speaking of SimCity, then Rogue are going to have to make sure they're Godzilla this time and bring a heck of a disaster because this is such a hard to attack bomb site. Although I think Rogue showed some very good ways to defend it previously, but that was against a very predictable EG attack. Rogue are going to have to be unpredictable this time. Again, the Glaz making it likely they're going to go for an Armory Lockers attack yet again, which seemed to be the go-to attack for EG. However, they're going to be bringing less smoke than EG did, and we'll see if that makes it a factor as well. But Slash has said so far, looking like he's pressuring onto Archives, where there is a lot of wall open, surprisingly. He's going to be able to take advantage of that, do some destruction, and maybe move on from there for some juicier targets.
Yeah, Geo in the meantime, making sure no runouts are available for EG. Try to take down any cameras that have been set up by Canadian himself. Of course, as the Valkyrie is available, we talked about this before, Devin. Valkyrie is banned quite a bit. We talk about Consulate and Border. Why? Gives you information to play off of on the defense for runouts. Eclipse, though, in the meantime, is shutting down Necrox. The Ella, remember, will get shut down early on. Advantage for Rogue. And it's been a while since you've seen Rogue playing so efficiently.
Well, they're definitely getting stuck on doing a lot of droning here, which could give an opportunity for a run out from Canadian if there's still some cameras outside. He just keeps narrowly avoiding being spotted by these drones. This is definitely a good play by him. He does finally, I think, get spotted for a second there. Definitely they're going to know he's there shooting that drone. But this is the hard part, pressuring him out. The E1D going to be used as part of that, but they've got to execute now on that.
Speaking of execution, Gio comes in, using the line to his advantage, but Eclipse get the kill on Canadian, just moving in with the sledge. 5v3 advantage for Rogue with 1:20 on the clock. Zuhair Slash firing in with the OTS-03 on the glass. Slash in the meantime as well, continuing with the drone, making sure there's no potential runouts from below him. Walls have not been reinforced. Gio holding off on the customs window. As NVK, though, chime in. Slash finally getting taken down in the glass, but Brian from the side, having already opened up a hole here with the help of the Habana to hold the hallway. BC will go for one play with his Yokai. Gio coming in for Young. Last alive is BC, low on health on the Echo. And Rogue looking to move on to put that 4th round on the board. Gio will secure the round for Rogue.
Well, this seems all too familiar of a situation from last map as
Literally
well.
the same.
Unfortunately, that did not go Rogue's way last time. If it doesn't go their way this time, that's it. There's no more second chances. Rogue, however, do seem to be a bit on a tear. They seem much more coordinated in these attacks, having a lot more drone play happening, a lot more intel gathering. They're actually pressuring these roamers to death. Now, that's the thing is, when you go to attack a roamer, if all you do is push them back to site, that's great. You know, you buy yourself a little bit of time. But the fact that they got kills on both the roamers put them in a great position on the site attack itself. It was unfortunate to lose Slash on that glass early, but he did get his smokes down first, and I think that helped put a little bit of additional pressure, maybe not leading directly to kills, but still gonna help. But Canadian bringing out the big guns again. Gonna switch back over to Pulse, which he did so well on Bank, as he does, well, pretty much on every map. So that is what Rogue are really gonna have to watch for here, because that could be what leads to an early death again for Slash. And if so, that is one of the spearheads down for the actual push itself, assuming they don't decide to kind of change things up and go for an opposite side attack.
All right, Rogue, all they need is this one round to tie it up and then go into overtime. At least try to go for it this round as the previous map. First one on Bank, they were not successful in doing so. But your operator bans, because you haven't been seeing them in Smira, Thermite, Blackbeard, and Vigil. If you look at the top of the board, one attacker and one defender. They've been banned by EG. Rogue, same on their right-hand side. Mira is definitely a powerful operator on this map, had she been played, but the ban on the one heart breacher definitely limits the plays from the attacking side. They'll rely only on the Habana, but we saw in a previous round where one set of Exkyros being used up from the break room onto the hallway wall is a big, big help for a Lion and such that are just holding down from there, making sure that rotations are not really possible between both sites, and just forces the players back or on the armor itself.
Well, we'll see if Gio can manage to spot any kind of gadgets that are going to help here. In this case, there is no Valkyrie cameras, but he could potentially spot Canadian on that Pulse, as well as BC's Yokai drones. However, Canadian going to be trying to do the same here, trying to spot them. He's going to be on that heartbeat sensor a lot. He will play constantly on it, which gives a great opportunity for Gio to track him, because he's rarely going to get off of it. Although, to be fair, the other operator that he might have played that they banned on him also is the same situation, but no, he's able to shoot all the discs off here. They were not countering him. This is unfortunately lack of coordination here in opening that up. He is spotted a little bit by the Lion, but they're not really going to do anything about it except for launch a few shots his way.
Yeah, they couldn't really deal with Canadian here in the back. He does have the hatch to potentially rotate down onto the side. He's got to be careful on the angles, but there's hard walls, at least reinforced walls behind him to protect on the run back. We'll have the L support him in the back. Losing one set of Exkyros is not the end of the world, but because this site is completely reinforced in the entryway coming in from the balcony, losing one set of Exkyros means you're just not going to use the other two to get on the opposite end. In the meantime, NVK sending up his Bandit Battery right on the wall. Bit of trickery available as Canadian again is in. And he does have the pulse scanner to relay info back to NVK. He can also come down and play from below. So the walls and the fountain can be used by him just in case they feel a rotation from the stairs.
I don't think they expected Canadian to rotate off so quickly, and that slowed down their push into CCTV, which has burned up a lot of time. They only have 45 seconds left to execute.
No Exkyros easily has lost his Exkyros in this. Now Rogue have to change their play. There's 40 seconds left on the clock and no hard breaching available for Rogue. This might just be their downfall here against EG as MVK will jump on out. And Canadian in the meantime holding off rotations with his pulse scanner. NVK again with a C4 available, chucks it to the back, and that's easily on the ground. Diffuser as well has been spotted, taken out. Brian with 1 kill, with a refrag from Necrox. One more from Slash, and Necrox and BC will chime in. Slash all on his own now versus the 2 PMM in hand in 10 seconds. The Evil Geniuses, they secure it. And we'll have it, the rematch from 6 Invitational 2018 will happen, ladies and gentlemen. EG versus Gamers 2.